This conference will now be recorded.
So, Madhukar, first of all, thanks for joining. It's Sunday afternoon and you chose to learn something new. So, it's good to have you here. The second thing is we'll
Okay,
be
sure.
starting today with volumes.
Mhm.
Volumes are part of storage solutions available on AWS. So, we'll be seeing what type of volumes are there and how we can attach multiple volumes, how to format a volume and all those things. We'll have a demo around it. So overall, we'll be covering all these topics mentioned here. Along with the volumes, we'll also see another use case of volume where we come across situations when we have like thousands of EC2 instances or hundreds of EC2 of instances, and they want to share data immediately between them.
Mhm.
Okay. So when I say
Okay.
immediately means they'll be doing concurrent read and concurrent write. So that kind of scenario. So in that case, we have an offering called EFS, that is Elastic Files System. So we'll
Okay.
check that as well today. So these two topics we'll be covering on the whole, and the whole session should be around 1 hour or just above 1 hour. Okay. So let's
Okay.
let's try to understand what exactly is volume. So before I
Mhm.
start, can you just brief me, or have you seen any volumes in your real life, or have you used any volumes, or just the first thing what comes in your mind when you think of a volume?
Volume, I think it means like storage. Uh,
Okay.
uh, it could be like our hard drive and
Okay.
or for our phone storage, or
Okay.
I think it is pretty much I know about the volume.
Yeah. So
It's
exactly
a
that is what it
storage.
is. Yeah. So whatever you said, it's just a storage solution. Okay. So that is what pretty much it
Mm.
is. Nothing else. Nothing
Okay.
less.
Okay.
I'm just signing in. Just hold on.
Okay.
So you talk about volumes, right? You talk about phone storage, you talk about hard drives and all. Now I have a question for you. We'll be talking about it in the upcoming 10 minutes, but I have a question for you.
Mm.
So you
Mm.
have a phone. Where will that phone storage be? Will it be close to phone or it will be far from phone somewhere? Means will it be stored in the cloud somewhere or it will be immediately available on your device? Where you will store the data?
I will store the data in my phone and
Absolutely. And the things which you will not use frequently, you will go and push it to cloud, be it Google Drive or
right.
iCloud, anything, right? Okay.
Right.
So, it's not allowing me to log in once again.
I kind of using both my phone storage and cloud storage in my iPhone.
Yeah, correct. So everyone
Mm.
uses that, but they have a clear understanding where
Mm.
they will keep the frequently accessed data, right? So that
Right.
was my question. That is whole idea revolving around volumes. Okay. We should
Right.
know our data's life cycle, okay, whether it is frequently accessed or whether it is infrequently accessed. If we know
Right.
that question, if we know that answer, right, so
Mm.
then we'll be pretty much good to go and decide what exactly we want.
Right. So in that case, our phone storage we can frequently use.
Exactly.
Yes. Right.
Like you save videos, you save photos and all those things, whatever you want immediately, right? So
Yes. Immediately.
those things are available to you uh, immediately. But let's say you have
Immediately.
uh, some photos which you took 2 years back or 3 years back or 4 years back. but you don't see them frequently. So what you will do, you will push them to the cloud storage, and whenever there is a need, you will go there, browse, and if needed, you can back up it onto the phone. Otherwise, you will just see there and put it back.
Exactly right.
Not sure why AWS is not allowing me to log in. That's fine, just in case. Irony is this meeting is going pretty good, but AWS console page is not opening. It's not even taking me to the login page. Okay.
I tried in
Internet.
It is working here.
Yeah. No, it will work there, but it is not going for me because I'm seeing that it is taking an auth signature. I was logged in earlier. Let's see. I removed it. Sign into console.
This conference will now be recorded.
Perfect. Okay, so we were discussing what are all the things which we'll cover. So we were talking about volumes earlier. So as we said, volumes are something where we'll store data. Okay, so that is perfectly what volumes are. So we'll be seeing how volumes work along with EC2 instances. We already have knowledge about EC2 instances, that it is compute which is available to us on the cloud. Okay, you got the compute, but when you will do some computation or some operations, you will go and store some data, right? Or in order to do any compute, you will do that compute on some data. So from where the input will come or from where the data will come. So it can come from S3 or it can come from some DB or whatever. So in our case, consider EBS as a runtime memory which is available to EC2 instances, okay, or hard drives which are in our laptop. But the only thing which you need to keep in mind is, as hard drive is close to your CPU or your laptop. So similarly, in case of AWS, EC2, EBS is attached to an EC2. Okay, so you can take it as a network hard drive. Why I'm saying close to EC2 instances and all those things, we'll discuss now. So how EC2 is structured, how EBS is structured. So let's take this as an example. So consider this as an AZ.
Okay.
Okay. AZ stands for availability zone, and in that you have an EC2 instance. Okay. And then we have something called as EBS volume. Okay, so this EBS volume can be uh, uh, there is no draw tool here, so please pardon me. So what I am trying to do here is this EC2 will be connected to this EBS volume, and after that this is frustrating. This is your AZ, and inside that this is your EC2 instance. Okay, and this EC2 instance, it getting attached to an EBS volume here and EBS volume here. Okay, and EBS volume here. So this is what I was trying to tell. So these are three different EBS volumes, but the main concept here which we are talking is that these EBS volumes will not be replicated anywhere else. They are inside an AZ. Why I am saying it, as your EC2 instance get instantiated inside an AZ, right? It will not be replicated to another AZ. So similarly, where you will store your data, you will store your data nearby, right? Nearby your compute. You will not go and store your data in some other AZ or in some other region, right? There will be latency factor and another factors which will creep in, and that you will lose the advantage of EBS. So it is network hard drive. If it is not in the same server rack where your EC2 instance is attached, but it is sitting nearby, it is not far from your EC2 instance. That is what the whole point I wanted to tell. Whenever you think of EBS, you think that it is attached on a network layer, means network port, but latency will be very less or nominal. Okay, so this is what the whole point, or this is what I was trying to tell you. And an EBS volume will be attached to can be attached to multiple EBS volumes, like we have C drive, D drive, and all those things, right? And let's say if I want to talk about network drive, you attach an extension drive in your laptop, right? And you can detach it, and then you can go and attach it to some other laptop and transfer the data, right? And share the data. Same thing you can do here in EBS. Whatever operation you will be able to do with a separate hard drive, same thing you can do it with EBS. That will be the easiest and the clearest way to understand about EBS and what are all the flexibilities EBS gives us. So if you talk about flexibility, let's say you have a hard drive which you use in Windows system. If you come here and try to put it in what is that Mac, it will not automatically recognize, okay, because the file systems are different. So what you have to do, either you have to have some software which will convert the NTFS which Windows uses to FAT32 which Mac uses, right, in between. So we have certain softwares. Otherwise, what you have to do, you have to format your drive from NTFS to FAT32 and then use it. In that case, you will lose your data. Okay, so these are the things like we see in real life, and same things we translate it to AWS and try to find our ways. This is exactly same. Okay. So but the main problem is, or the main thing which needs to be focused is that EBS volumes are close to your EC2 instances. As simple as that. Okay. Now comes the other concept. Okay. if you have EBS volume located, okay, if you have EBS volume located in a particular AZ, so what if I want to instantiate an EC2 instance in a separate availability zone? Okay, so how I'll be able to transfer the data? So that is this is the popular exam use case and popular question. I'll repeat it again. I have my EBS volumes here in availability zone 1. Okay, now I want to have same thing in availability zone 2. Okay.
2. Okay.
Okay. So the thing is, as I said, the EBS volume EBS 1 and this
EBS 2.
okay, I want this EBS 1 to be available here in availability zone 2 as well.
Okay.
Okay, so what we can do is, there is a concept called a snapshot. Okay, you will
Snapshot. Okay.
okay, so what you will do, you will snapshot EBS 1. Okay, then you will copy this snapshot,
right,
to AZ2.
AZ2.
Okay, then what you will do, you will create a volume from snapshot. Okay, once you got the volume,
Okay.
you can AZ2.
Okay, right.
Okay, so this is the flow chart.
Okay.
You here with me so far? Okay, cool. So this is how it works. Now we'll see these things in action. Let's talk about snapshot and what it is. So I have noted down certain concepts. Let's talk about it first. Okay, so in EBS section, there are 3 important things which they ask: snapshot, volume, AMI. Okay, so these 3 things, if we understand, we understand most of the EBS. So what is a snapshot? So consider it, you have a hard drive.
Okay.
Okay, and you stored some data here, that hard drive, and someone took a picture out of it. Okay, or in technical terms, let's say someone saved the state of this hard drive. Okay, save the state of this hard drive. Okay, this state is saved inside S3. Okay, let's say you took a snapshot, and after that you added one more page. Okay, so first you took a snapshot, you saved it into S3, and then you wrote something again on that hard drive. So these, so next time we'll take another snapshot. New snapshot. Okay, so it will be old snapshot plus changed data. Okay, also called as delta. Okay, So when you talk about delta, so delta, so here old snapshot was still here, then you added one more page and then you did the delta. Okay, so why I'm telling you that new snapshot is old plus change data? This is called as incremental snapshot.
Okay, incremental.
Incremental snapshot. So only delta is recorded. In next snapshots. Okay, this is important. So this is a snapshot. So snapshot can be taken as a state. Okay, a state. They don't have any physical. They don't have any physical. What to say? Availability means we cannot just go and use a snapshot. Let's say take it as a negative blueprint. Okay, you cannot just use the blueprint. Okay, so you need a physical implementation around it. Consider snapshot just a logical representation. Okay, but we cannot go and use it. So or in programming term, consider snapshot as some diagrams, class diagrams. Not exactly, because class diagrams will not hold any data. Okay, so consider it like some state which is saved, but if you want to use it, you want to bring them to life. Okay, so I take it like this: snapshots are dead code or something. Okay. And then volume. What is volume? So volume is a live, what to say, a live snapshot. Okay, means
we can use it.
If you take it as like stopped or frozen code, volume can be assumed as running code. Okay, which is available. You can use it. So a snapshot is like you took a snapshot out of it and you saved it. Okay, so you cannot access this data from the snapshot unless you you do something to bring it to life. Okay, so how we can bring it to life is we need to create a volume out of it. Okay, so volume, what is like? Okay, you will create a same thing whatever you took screenshot and then you will bring it to life. Okay, volume is there. Now after that, what happens is you can create AMIs out of it, Amazon Machine Images. Okay, so there is something else around it. What I will urge you, do check around AMIs. What is AMI? Okay, just as a homework. If you are not able to satisfy yourself what is an AMI, we can discuss about it. But AMIs are pretty much on the same line what we discussed so far. So if you understood one and two, you will understand third, and we can have a discussion around it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You understood this much. Let's try to see all these things in action first, and then we'll move forward. Okay, so we talked about EBS volumes. We have to talk about different types of volumes. We also talked about that volumes are AZ specific. We had a discussion that why they are AZ specific. We also talked about how we can copy an EBS volume from one AZ to another. Then we talked about snapshots, and we also talked about how we can move a snapshot between AZs. So then there is something called as volume pre-warming. Okay, we'll also talk about it. Okay, and then copy EBS volumes between AZ we already covered, means the theoretical part of it. And then there is something called as encryption and instance store. Okay, so we'll be closing EBS with the instance store. So let's do our hands-on and see what is exactly a volume. Okay, so in order to go to volume, what you can do is you can search EC2 instance, EC2. We'll go to EC2 homepage. So EBS, Elastic Block Store block, you can see volume, snapshots, and lifecycle manager. Okay, so I'm going to volumes. I'm going to create a volume. So here you can see there are 5 types of volumes. Okay, general purpose SSD, provisioned IOPS SSD, cold SSD, cold HDD, and throughput optimized HDD, and magnetic standard. Okay, so you will get questions around like this. They'll say we have a workload which needs lot of IOPS, like heavy database, let's say Cassandra or MySQL or Postgres. It is for an e-com website. We want to make sure that we don't see any latency, any kind of latency. So which type of volume type we should choose? Okay. So whenever we talk about databases, we need to talk about IOPS. Okay. Input output operations per second. So in that case, we need to go with provisioned IOPS. But that is not an hard and fast rule. Okay. In question, they will describe a solution like that, but after that they'll mention we also want something which is cost saving. Okay, so you can go with general purpose as well. So here I chose IOPS. So what is the difference between a general purpose SSD and provisioned IOPS? So first I'll explain the provisioned IOPS, because as name says, like provisioned IOPS. Okay, so irrespective of the size of your EBS volume, okay, you can choose how much IOPS you want. Okay, so let's say I chose an EBS volume of size 10 GB, and I chose IOPS which I want, that I want IOPS that is 3000 all the time, irrespective of load. Okay, so Amazon will provision this capacity to us. Okay, fine, this EBS volume can have this much IOPS. Then I say like, no, I want 4000 IOPS. So they'll say, okay, fine, boss, take it 4000 IOPS. I say, I want 10,000 IOPS. Okay. In that case, it is telling me the maximum ratio which you can achieve is 1 GB per 50 IOPS. Okay. So 1 GB per 50 IOPS. So if I want 10,000 IOPS, I need to make sure that I have 500 GB or something or like that. Okay, so it's not like you have 10 GB storage and you are asking for no, I want 10,000 IOPS. That does not make sense. Okay, provisioned IOPS are costly. Okay, minimum IOPS which you can have is 100 IOPS. The maximum what you can achieve is 64,000 IOPS. If I'm not wrong, 64,000 IOPS are for certain types of machines. You can look up to IOPS somewhere. But the main point is provisioned IOPS gives you flexibility to provision how much IOPS you want from this EBS volume. That is the only use case. So with more flexibility comes in a greater price. So provisioned IOPS are costly. Okay, then let's say you chose provisioned IOPS, you gave your inputs like I want these many IOPS, then you have to choose in which availability zone you want. So you want this to be initialized. So you can understand from your from our previous discussion, right? Volumes are AZ bound. You have to choose which availability zone I want to. So now comes the throughput. So what is throughput? Throughput that the volume can support is a specified number of specified for streaming optimized volumes. Okay, so consider it throughput like IOPS are concurrent correct connections, read write operations which you can support. Okay,
Okay.
throughput is like the bandwidth, MB per
Okay.
second, how much data you can take in and out. Okay, MB per second. So these are SSDs already. So Amazon means these will be high performant always. So I'm not sure why there is no throughput or something like that. I can go back and check, but that does not make sense. People say that does not make sense here to have throughput. Okay, so
Okay.
provisioned IOPS and general purpose will not have throughput. How exam will trick you is I have used I want this much IOPS, so I have chosen provisioned IOPS, and I also want throughput of 100 Mbps per second. So I can go ahead and configure it provisioned IOPS while creating the volume. But point is, you cannot do that. So the operation, the answer, if it is true false, it will be false. Got it?
False. Got it. Right.
Then what you have to do is you can choose a snapshot. Okay, a snapshot. So remember what we discussed, a volume is a housing container for a snapshot. So either way, what we can do is we can, while creating the volume, we can install some operating system as well on top of the volume. Okay,
Okay.
so these are the snapshots which are available from Amazon.
Okay.
Okay, if it is not making sense, we'll talk about it. Cool. And then you have multi-attach. Multi-attach enables it you to attach a volume to up to 60 nitro-based instances. So it is not available to the normal instances. There is some special class of instances called nitro-based, which are high performant. Okay, that is where you will be able to achieve 64,000 IOPS. So here they are saying this was not available earlier. And EBS volume, and if you have a hard drive, right, you will only be able to attach it to one laptop, not concurrent laptop at the same time. Okay, unless and until it is a network hard drive. Okay, so same thing, but they gave it like, okay, fine, if you have a small use case, we can attach a EBS volume to multi instances, and then you have something called as encryption. Okay, so while creating the volume, you can encrypt it, so depending upon your choices. Okay, if you choose this, so you can choose like, okay, fine, this will be managed by AWS KMS, key management service. So that is by default, AWS will take care of the encryption key rotation and all those things. So you need not have to worry about how your data. So this is encryption as at rest. Okay, so AWS will be taking care. The moment you put any data into EBS, it will automatically encrypt it, and the key will come from see, it is not giving me option to go back. Here, I cannot go back now. Okay, anyways, so this is provisioned IOPS. Let's go to general purpose. So general purpose is like, depending upon, so general purpose can go from 1 GB to 16 GB. Similarly, 16 GB, I'm saying 16 TB, 1000, right? So it's TB, yeah, 16 TBs. And similarly, provisioned IOPS as well. So here, you cannot request that many IOPS. Okay. So here baseline is 1 GB, 3 IOPS. Okay. Minimum is 100 IOPS. So when I say like, okay, I want 10 GB, so I will go to minimum. Okay. So 100 is the minimum, and the bus table to 3000 IOPS. So what it is saying is, though you are provisioned 100 IOPS, but there is something called as burst credit. Okay, burst credit, so which you can, it's like a superpower. Okay, whenever you are in deficiency, you will use those credits, and for time being, you will upscale your IOPS available to you, and once that is down or over, you will again come back to your normal use case, means normal whatever is available, and slowly when you are not crossing your threshold, that is 100 IOPS, your burst credits will slowly grow, and then whenever you get extra load, you will again use your burst credit and try to get over it. So that is something like that. After this, let's say I chose 5000 GB. Okay, so you can see that
Okay.
the limit is 15,000 IOPS.
15,000.
Let's say I move to 100,000 IOPS, 100,000 GBs.
10.
Okay, so limit is 16,000. I'm sorry, 100,000, 10,000 GBs. Okay,
Mm.
so this is the upper limit of uh, general purpose. Okay, so let's
Right.
say I go to max, it will not increase. Okay,
Right.
so this is the
Okay,
max
understood.
size of volume which I can provision.
Mm.
And it will not increase. Okay,
Mm.
so if I'm not wrong, 8,000. I believe 5,000 or 6,000 GBs. After that, it will not increase. Okay, so similarly, all
Right.
things are same for this as well. Now coming to cold HDD. Okay, so here you can see that
Mm.
you have some option
Right.
of throughputs.
Throughput.
Okay, so throughput that the volume can support is specified for streaming optimized volume. So some media services which are reading concurrently from your hard disk for streaming purposes,
Mm.
you can use this uh, type of volume option. Okay, similarly you have throughput
Right.
optimized. So consider you have general purpose SSD. So in one is general purpose, second is provisioned IOPS. So here you can consider for HDD, this is general purpose cooled, the other one is throughput optimized, the provisioned one. So here you can you cannot provision the throughput, but it will be more. So 40 MB per TB, which was not the case with cold
TB.
HDD. And here, if
Mm.
I'm not wrong, if I choose 10, so it is not possible. So minimum size is 500 GBs only.
500.
Okay, and when
Oh.
you take 500 GB, it will be
Mm.
20.
It's 20.
Okay, so
Mm.
this is what it is. Uh, these are the volumes. So what we are going to do now is we'll create one volume, the general purpose. We will
Mm.
create it like some
Mm.
8 GBs, and we will
Mm.
create in US East 1A, and we don't
Mm.
want any snapshot.
Right.
Okay, so volume got created.
Okay.
So it is available here. We got the
Right.
volume here, which is available. So how volumes work is they need to be attached to some EC2 instance, right? Otherwise they don't
Instant.
have any existence.
Right.
So I'm starting my EC2 instance in US East 1A because my volume is also present in that same. So I'm attaching one more volume here, and it is getting attached to SDB. Here you can search
Mm.
for the snapshot. So you can see here you have Fedora based clouds, Rawhide, or some images, snapshot of image bootcart or something like that. You can come and search here created by some creative image or something like that. So all the companies, let's say they have a software, they don't want you to do anything or provision it or this and that. They'll just create a snapshot. Based on the snapshot, you can provision a volume, and then you will automatically get all the tools installed by them. Okay, so you just need to punch in your credentials and start using their software. So that is where the snapshots come into the picture.
Okay.
Okay, so here volume type can be general purpose, provisioned, and all those things. But
Mm.
the other thing which is important is here in the root volume, you can only see three options. The one is general purpose, the other one is provision, the third one is magnetic standard. And here The extra volume you can see cold SDT and throughput optimize. Why is that? In the cold SDT and throughput optimize, you cannot install the operating system. Okay, they cannot be bootable volumes except general purpose, provisioned, and
Okay.
magnetic. So three can only be bootable. So this is the important thing which you need to be keep in mind. So this is SSH. Okay, launch.
Okay.
So here I have prepared a step-by-step guide for EBS volumes. Okay, so in the free time, just go there and try to see whatever things needed. So, pardon me. So it's nothing but I copied the steps whatever I got it from the documentation. Okay, so it's nothing rocket science here.
Right.
Okay, so we got our EC2 instance now, and okay, I will connect with SSH client today. So okay, so here first thing we'll just update the package manager. That is not needed though, but let's do it. Then what I'm talking here in tutorial is I'll walk you through all the options available. So here what we are trying to do is whenever you add one more volume, right, to an EC2 instance. So what happens in Windows, if you remember, you got a blank laptop, not blank, but just the operating system. So what you have to do, you will just have one drive, right? So what you need to do, you need to shrink the volume, create drives out of it, format those drives, and then only you will be able to use them. Okay, so they will be available, but you cannot use it. So similarly on Linux side, what we have to do is we have to do the same steps. Okay, so here I am talking about those same steps only. So there is this command lsblk. So what it tells is this is your root volume xvda, okay, which is mounted on root drive. Okay, there is other xvdb which is not mounted anywhere. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to mount. Okay, So how to mount it? So first thing is whether there is any file system or not on this device. So let's say I mounted this. This is the root volume location. Okay, XVDB. If I have to go back and tell you where I selected this, do you remember where I selected this? Okay, I'll show you. So this is the place where I selected. Consider you have a pen drive, right? And you have pen drive ports. So all ports internally, they will have some address. Okay, so this is where I selected.
Okay.
So
Right.
what it will tell me is if there is any file system already present there. So it will tell me, yeah, there is a file system. If it is not, then it will just return what I have mentioned here. If this returns data, means new added volume is not having file system, like a blank drive. Okay, it's nothing returning. It's not returning anything. Let's go ahead. This will create a file system like NTFS or FAT32. Done.
Okay.
And then what I'm creating is just creating a new directory, new volume. Okay, mkdir. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm running lsblk again. So what is this telling? This volume is mounted on new volume. Okay. So I'm inside new volume now.
Right.
And if you see, I'm inside here, and what I can do is touch. Touch is not available. It's not exiting. Why? Arey Baba. I went inside VI and it is not allowing me to exit out of it. Command not found. Last change. Press enter to type a command to continue. Oh, this is very bad. Control L to exit. Exit in screen. Okay, so just saying. I'm typing Control Q. Right, no write since last change. Add to override.
Entry at override.
Shell return. Press enter or continue command to continue. Whatever I am doing, it is taking me again here. Shell return 27. Okay. Command not found. Pin bash WQ. I believe there is something wrong currently, which is going on.
Okay.
I just close the shell. I'll see what is happening. I'm inside new and there is no
Yes.
file. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So I'll do. Okay, I have the file.
Mm.
And this is the content inside it. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Hello.
now what I'll do is, so this is part of EC2 instance 1. Okay. So what
Mm.
we can do is
Mm.
we can create a snapshot of this volume. Okay.
Okay.
Create snapshot. Volume is
Right.
the demo VPC, but which one is our volume? We don't know, because there were two volumes attached to the EC2 instance, right? So we need to see which
Right.
volume is the additional one. So for that, we can go to volumes,
Mm.
and you can see this is the additional volume. Why I'm able to identify that this is additional volume? Because the additional volume, we did not choose any snapshot to bring it to life. Okay.
Right.
So
Mm.
what was snapshot? Snapshot was the operating system which we chose. Remember, we chose
Right.
Amazon Linux to EMI, and then we chose the root 8 GB, and
Right.
there in the snapshot by default a snapshot which we was selected. So what I told, snapshot can be any code, okay, but in frozen state. So in that case, for us, it was an Amazon AMI to Linux operating
Mm.
system. We started it as a root volume. We got Amazon Linux to AMI. Okay, but for us, we did not choose anything. So this is the additional volume. So what we'll do is, so this is the additional volume.
Mm.
Snapshot 1. Okay, so you can see that it
Mm.
is not encrypted. Okay,
Mm.
when a volume is not encrypted, its snapshot will also be not encrypted. Following me? When a volume is not encrypted, its snapshot will also be not encrypted. Now there is another
Right.
thing which I want to explain you here on this small page. What type of resource type I'm selecting? It is volume. If I chose that I want to create a snapshot of an instance, I can do that as well. Okay, so you
Okay.
can see
Mm.
that uh, uh, what I have currently, this is 4961, it is coming up. So instance, so let's see what is our instance ID, 961.
On.
Okay,
Right.
so I can
Right.
create an instance snapshot as well. Then
Okay.
you will ask another question, Gaurav, when you are creating a snapshot of an instance, okay, so that
Right.
instance will be connected to multiple EVS volumes. Okay, it will be connected to this, it will be connected
Right.
to this,
Right. Mm.
and then there will be something called as root volume. Okay,
Mm.
root volume. So when you will take snapshot for this, okay, I know now how it is working. So when you will take snapshot of this EC2 instance, right?
Mm.
So you will have an option. First of all, you will take snapshot of all this full ecosystem.
Right.
Okay. Then you will have an option of removing the root volume. Okay. You don't want to
Mm.
take the snapshot of the root volume. Okay. So this is what you will get here. This is in depth,
Exclude.
but yeah, these things are in depth, but I'm not sure whether you will be asked all these things or not, but it is good to know.
Right.
Okay, so
Mm.
I have named it as a snapshot, and I have chosen the additional volume. So
Mm.
then I'll create a snapshot, and cool. So it will be like in this way. So if I,
Mm.
so it is available now. Okay, this snapshot is available.
Right. Mm.
Okay, So if we have to backtrace it, what this snapshot is holding, can you tell me?
Snap.
Okay, this question is a bit vague. Let me say it.
Okay.
We took snapshot of this volume. What that volume was having inside?
It's hello. What was?
World. One file it is having, right? So
Right,
the
right,
snapshot is also having that one file. So if we create a
right.
volume out of this snapshot, so technically we should have that.
Attached to the EC2.
We should have that file there.
Okay,
That
right,
is
right.
that is the whole
Mm.
purpose, right?
Mm.
So we got the snapshot. Now
Right.
we go to volumes. Just see the name of this snapshot, demo snapshot. Okay, we'll go to volumes. We'll create a volume.
Create a volume and attach this snapshot
Yes.
to the volume.
Okay, and
Mm.
this time I am creating a volume is US East 1B. Okay,
Right. Mm. Demo EC2. Mm.
not sure why it is not coming. So let's show you meantime
Taking some
something.
time.
Yeah, it is not coming up. I'm not sure why. Okay, so that is now how usually it behaves. But yesterday also it was taking some time to do something else. You saw, right? Attaching a role and removing a role, it got hung up.
Right.
Yeah. So here, okay. So this is snapshot. If you see,
Mm.
it is, if I'm not wrong, it is in US East 1. Okay, so snapshots will get saved inside the S3. Okay, so they are not region bound. Okay,
Okay.
so but volumes are
Mm.
region bound. So what you can do is you can region and inside that availability zone bound. Okay, so what you can do is you
Mm.
can copy the AMI to different regions. Okay, so there is a question which I will try
Right.
to explain you what we are trying to do here. So this is a region. This is your
Mm.
availability zone, and this was your EBS volume. Okay, you
Right.
took a snapshot and then you created a snapshot here. Snapshot in turn goes and gets saved in uh, S3. Okay, so S3 is
Mm.
also region bound service. Okay,
Right.
now a question will come, boss, you want to transfer it to different region. So how you will do that? So you have this snapshot, right? What you will do, you will copy this
Right.
snapshot in this region. Okay, you have now snap here.
Okay.
Then you will create a new volume V1.
Volume out of it.
Okay. Then you will attach that volume to
Hmm.
EC2. This is the process. Create the snapshot, copy the snapshot, create a volume.
Create a volume.
Okay, so we can do the same thing here. You can go ahead and do the copying of snapshot. On this particular window, there is one more important concept hidden, that is encrypt the snapshot. Okay, while copying
Okay.
the screen snapshot, what you can do is you can encrypt it.
Okay.
Okay, so you can encrypt it. If I choose this one, so it will ask me, okay, what you want to encrypt it with. So you can go ahead and encrypt it. There is one more concept here, that is you can copy the snapshot in the same region. Okay, I am in Northern Virginia. I am trying to copy the snapshot in the same Northern Virginia region. Now, there should be a question, right? Why you want to copy the snapshot in the same region? That does not make sense. Okay, my answer would be that you want to encrypt that snapshot. Okay,
Okay.
so if you want to encrypt it, what you can do, you can copy the same snapshot here and delete the previous one. Then if you create a volume from the encrypted snapshot, that volume will also be encrypted.
Encrypted.
Okay, so these are the important concepts which revolve around encryption and encrypted things. So just keep this in mind. Okay, if you'll read documentation, you will get to know all these things. Not sure why it is not coming up. Madhukar. Let's do this here. There should be some problem with the portal.
Right.
Okay, so what I was trying to do is snapshot ID is invalid. Okay, that is what I was not trying to search it with that. So what I will try to do now is let's try to search it with some characters. Okay. Okay. Let me do it like this. Okay. So I directly came here. I was thinking of creating it from there, but now I'm creating it like this. So I use the demo snapshot as the snapshot ID. It is general purpose SSD. I'm taking the 8 GB in size, and here I can choose which uh, availability zone I want. So our scenario was you have something here in availability zone 1. I want the same in availability zone 2. So first I created the snapshot. Now I'm going to copy this. This step is optional. Okay, this step is mandatory in the case of regions. Okay, so this is an optional step. Or I believe we cannot do that altogether, but that does not make sense. Okay, then after that you can create a volume from the snapshot in that uh, in different AZ. Okay, and then after that we need to create an EC2 instance and attach it. So I'm creating it at US East 1B, and here I can choose to encrypt the volume. Okay. While
Hmm.
creating the volume without,
Hmm.
right? From the snapshot, we can encrypt it, same thing.
Right. Right.
Close. Here, now in the volumes, this is what we created just now. Yes. Okay.
Hmm. Snapshot.
Okay. So now we
Hmm.
have our volume ready. This volume is sitting inside 1B. Okay, not 1A. All our things are in 1A. Okay.
1B.
Now it is in 1B. So what we will do is we will go to instances. We'll create
EC2.
another
Okay.
instance. Okay, tell me this. Can I attach that volume to the current instance which is running?
Yes.
No, we cannot, right? Because our instance is running in 1A, but our volume is in 1B, different AZ.
Okay. Okay. Right. Right.
Yeah,
ADs. Okay. So we have to create the EC2 in that availability zone.
exactly. Yes, perfect. Here we could have had search that instance ID. You can see that that instance is now
Okay.
coming here in snapshot ID directly. Or what we
Hmm.
can do is uh, what we'll do is we will not attach the
Okay.
extra EBS volume here. We'll attach it in the runtime. Okay, means I am
Okay.
just going ahead with one EBS volume and this. So here you can see that this instance detail. I'm launching it. I have this key pair.
Hmm.
And then you have to go and view the instances. So ah, okay, so this is running now. What we will do quickly,
Hmm.
once it is initialized, we'll go to volumes.
Volume.
We
Hmm.
have this volume created from demo.
Right.
Okay, it is in 1B. Uh, we
B.
can click on this and we can click on attach volume.
Attach. Hmm.
Okay, then what we can
Hmm.
do is EBS demo AZ2
Right.
running. Okay, we'll choose that and then we'll the device ID, the mount point. Okay, it is available here and
Okay.
I'll go ahead and attach it. Okay, so you can check the status now. It is in use. Okay, now
Hmm. Right.
if you come here in the EC2 console, you will see that it is connected to another device as well. Remember, we did not attach it while creating, but this time we attached it on the fly. It's like you have the laptop which is running, you ran and just inserted your external hard drive. Okay,
Hmm.
just same scenario.
Right.
Okay, cool. So what we'll do now is we'll go inside this EC2 instance and then see. So now I'm
Hmm.
connecting it to the browser-based client.
Right.
So this time, what I'm doing is, so this is available XVD if it is available. Okay,
Hmm.
another
Right.
extra one if is available. So what we will do is we will just create a new volume. Okay, and we will mount it. But this time mount point is different. Okay, means we inserted it from this
Okay.
one
Okay.
to we will go inside new volume and we'll do ls. We have our file here. Okay,
Hmm.
and if we do hello.txt, we have our text as well.
Right.
So this is what we did. We had data in
Hmm.
some other AZ, we copied it, we played around, we can do encryption as well and all those things. This is a
Hmm.
proper hands-on and you can use this article to have a reference and go forward with it.
Right.
Okay. So you know how to search
Right.
it. Go there, blog, search Gaurav and you'll get it. So this step-by-step guide. So it will guide you.
Hmm.
Now coming back to our presentation and see
Okay.
all the things available. So you see anything which is not covered here, that is in store. Okay, yeah, for encryption there are 4 points which you need to just keep that in mind. Traffic between EC2 and EBS are
Hmm.
encrypted. Data inside volume
Okay.
gates are encrypted. Snapshots can be encrypted or not encrypted, it is up to you. Okay, volumes from snapshots are
Hmm.
encrypted. So we went through all the options available. So all these
Right.
bullet points are not important for you anymore because you can create a mental model and understand, okay, fine. If volume is unencrypted and I'm creating a snapshot, it will be unencrypted. From a snapshot, when I'm creating a volume, I have a choice to create a encrypted volume out of it. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just go through all these things, you will get to know. Now coming back to instant store.
Store.
Okay. So what is instant store? Uh, so so far, uh, so what happens is you have this EBS volume, right? This is sitting
Right.
outside of your EC2 instances. Okay, this is sitting outside of your EC2 instances, and EC2 instance has to go out, connect it, and then perform some operation. Okay. Okay, there is nothing called. So in instance store, what happens is uh, consider it like RAM.
Okay.
Okay, so instance store, what happens? Okay, why I wrote it
Okay.
like but bit powerful, I'll tell you.
Hmm.
Instance store are like hardwares which are attached to your EC2 instances. Okay, so they'll be very fast,
Hmm.
humongously fast. Okay, IO operations will be
Hmm.
fast. The only thing is they have certain limitations. Means if you terminate your instances, data will be lost.
Hmm.
Okay, if you
Hmm.
uh, stop your instances, data will be lost,
Hmm.
but your data will remain on restart. Okay, so I have written
Okay.
down these touch points. Okay. Pardon me, I have not written it. Okay. So instant store is that. Nothing else, nothing fancy. A hard drive, or rather a hardware storage solution which is directly attached, physically attached to your EC2 instance. So it will be
Hmm.
humongously fast. The other down point is the other thing is that you cannot scale it, cannot
Okay.
change it. So
Hmm.
uh, okay, one instantiated. Okay, so this is what instance store is all about. If I'll see anything else which is fancy about instance store, I can let you know. Yeah, here I have written it. Reboot data is saved. Stop terminate data is not saved. Size can be, cannot be changed.
Okay.
No, cannot be. Okay, cannot be changed once instantiated. Okay, so
Okay.
there are
Hmm.
special use cases for this. Just have a check.
Hmm.
If you face any difficulty anywhere, but they are costly to show demo, that's why I'm not showing it, and they are not available
Right.
on
Hmm.
for all the instances. Like you cannot have it in T2 micro or T2 this. If you go to large or metal type, there you will have attached instance store data in storage solution. Okay, now there is one more
Okay.
concept known as RAID configuration. Okay, so RAID
Hmm.
configuration is
Hmm.
like I saw that people are teaching it in one of the video courses, so that's how I'm also attaching it. I got one question on RAID configuration, if I recollect it correctly, means remember it correctly. So RAID configuration is like this. So what you have is, mm, I can, yeah. So in RAID, there are two types of configurations: RAID 0 and RAID 1. RAID 0 talks about performance. Okay,
Okay.
so when we talk about EBS,
Hmm.
right? So EBS volumes can go as big as 16 TB, and in that, what happens is
Hmm.
there is a block after 16,000 IOPS. Okay, you cannot go forward than 16,000 IOPS in GP2 and 64,000
Hmm.
IOPS in provisioned IOPS category, right? But let's say if you
Right.
want more, so what you can do is you can have uh, RAID 0 or RAID 1 configuration, okay, for your
Hmm.
EC2 instance.
Okay.
So if you want to increase your IOPS, you can have RAID 0 arrangement, which will look something like this. Uh, so RAID 0, in that what we will do is we will have an EC2 instance,
Hmm.
and then we'll have an EBS volume,
Hmm.
and we'll have another EBS volume, or we can have n number of EBS volumes. Okay,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
what we will do is, oh, oh, it went back, too back.
Hmm.
Okay, I wanted to do something else. No, I wanted some boundary only. How? Okay. So
Hmm.
okay, so it will be collected like this. Okay, and your
Huh.
EC2 instance will talk to this collected volume. It will not be visible to EC2 instance what it is talking to. This collection is called as
Hmm.
a logical volume. Okay, so what will
Okay.
happen if you are writing any data, right? Some of that data will be written to
Hmm.
this EC2 instance, and some
Hmm.
of the data will be written to this EC2 instance. So whenever you are trying to read, right?
Hmm.
So what will happen? You will read from both of these EC2 instances. Okay. So if this EC2 instance is running at its topmost at 16,000 IOPS, and this is also running it as topmost at 16,000 IOPS, so cumulative you will have uh, 32,000 IOPS.
Hmm.
Okay, so this is RAID 0 configuration. The only problem with RAID 0 is that what people say that the moment if any of the EBS volumes go down, right, you will lose data
Right.
and whole setup will come down. So that is why it is not recommended. Okay, then in RAID 1
Okay.
configuration, what happens? Same setup, but in this time, whatever data you are writing, right, you will be writing it to both of the EBS volumes. Okay,
Okay.
it is not like if you are writing A, it will be here as well.
Okay.
Okay, both of the sides you will
Hmm.
have A. So if anything goes down, still your EBS volume will work. So it will have fault tolerance.
Hmm.
Okay,
Right.
but these things
Hmm.
okay can happen or uh, some pointer. Yeah. Now what we can do is there is one more thing which is missed as of now. Let's go there and check it. A fancy option. Life cycle manager in the Elastic Block Store. Okay, we talked about volumes, we talked about snapshot. Life cycle manager. What it does is it will take periodical
Hmm.
snapshots of your volumes.
Okay.
Means it will automatically save
Hmm.
data of volume or instances. So this is less known option, but you can throw it in your interviews. So you can tell a snapshot policy. It's like a pipeline job which will automatically go and take the backup of your EC2 instance in time backup.
Okay.
Okay, so just
Hmm. Hmm.
you can schedule the time and all those things. So nothing fancy, same thing. You'll just take the snapshot. If you want to recover it, take create a volume out of that snapshot, attach it, or you can take the type of snapshot of whole instance altogether. Okay, there will be incremental,
Right.
there will be
Right.
retention type, and how many snapshots you want to keep, and the period of retention and all those things. So you can play around it. So we are done with EBS. Any questions so far?
Hmm. Yeah. As of now, it's good. I will again go through it again, all the points.
Okay.
But pretty much I'm understanding all the things.
Okay, cool. Makes sense. So what you can do now is go ahead
Right.
for the next
Hmm.
time, uh,
Hmm.
play around with the EFS. Okay, I'm giving EFS to you. I'll cover
Oh.
it. EFS is just this block. Okay,
Huh.
uh, there is nothing beyond EFS in this block. I have also written different solutions like why you use EFS. Okay, based on the questions and all. I'll
Hmm.
strongly recommend you to read it. Because once the course is over,
Okay.
you face any problem. So what I'll be doing is I'll be writing a blog for you. Okay.
Okay.
If there is something new, something else you come up and I feel like challenging, so I'll be writing a blog so that it will be helpful for you and it will be for me as well. Okay.
Okay. Right.
So
Right.
try the EFS. Have a read here. If you feel like something is not right,
Hmm.
then we can talk about it. But let me give you background of EFS.
Hmm.
Why EFS came into the picture? That will
Okay.
complete the day. So What is the biggest drawback of EBS volumes? Can you tell me?
EBS.
You know it, but you are not able to
Yes, I think.
think like, yeah, that is, it is a drawback. EBS volumes are AZ confined. Remember,
Okay.
right? So if you have to
Right.
transfer data between two EC2 instances, so what you have to do is you have to take a snapshot and then create a volume
Sure.
there and then with
Right.
the
Right.
data transfer. Think of a situation when you have to do it 1,000 times in a day.
It
So
will be
will you
more
be
time
able?
consuming.
No, you cannot do it. You can do it for 1 time, 2
You
times, 3
cannot.
times. You cannot do it. Okay. So elastic file system,
Right.
what it does is it will give you that liberty. Okay, it will give you that liberty. It is a file system which is spanned across a region. Okay, which is spanned across a region.
Okay.
So you can attach EC2 instances to this EFS. Okay, then the moment you write a file, it will be available to be read for all other EC2 instances who are connected to EFS. That is the only
Okay.
use case of elastic file system. Now, another question should come that can't we use S3? Okay, can't we use S3? So, if I'm not wrong, you have to find this options, this answer. Okay, just go through it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just note it down so that. But I have already written on the blog. Okay, I'm giving you
Okay.
solution as well. So here I have described like what it is and what it is not. Okay, so you can play around with it and then come back. But you
Right.
understood the gist, right? Why EFS came into the picture first of all.
Right.
Okay, okay, cool. Then you can also think of what is EFS, what is EBS, and how come it is different from instant store. Okay, so we are pretty much
Okay.
done with storage services part 1 and part 2. I'm stopping the recording.